life would be without it. Cross-country flights in America, the bustling airports of JFK and LAX.
Olá, pessoal! Sejam bem-vindos ao meu canal. Meu nome é Natália, mas você pode me chamar de Nath. Eu adoro reagir e aprender sobre outros países, especialmente aqueles bem diferentes do meu, em termos culturais e econômicos. Então, se você gosta desse tipo de conteúdo, fique à vontade para se inscrever. Vou adorar ter você por aqui. Bom, nesse vídeo eu vou reagir a 10 invenções britânicas que os americanos geralmente não percebem que são britânicas. Então é isso, sem mais delongas, e vamos para a reação.
10 British inventions Americans often don't realize came from the UK. When you think about life-changing inventions, most Americans proudly point to their own country. After all, the US is a hub of creativity, from Silicon Valley to Hollywood. But here's the twist. Some of the most important breakthroughs that shape modern American life actually came from Britain. From the phone in your pocket to the internet you're using right now, many everyday essentials began across the pond. In this countdown, we reveal 10 British inventions Americans often don't realize came from the UK. And trust us, the list will surprise you. 10. The telephone. The humble telephone is often seen as a purely American triumph, but its roots trace back to Scotland. Alexander Graham Bell, born in Edinburgh in 1847, later emigrated to North America, where he patented the telephone in 1876. So, while the U.S. gets the credit for spreading it worldwide, the mind behind it had British origins. Think about that. Every phone call in New York, every FaceTime chat with family, and even the annoying robocall comes from a Scottish-born inventor's dream. Bell's work shows how a British invention can ripple across the globe, becoming a cornerstone of American life. 9. The World Wide Web. When Americans think of the Internet, they often picture Silicon Valley startups, Google's massive search empire, or YouTube binge sessions. But the foundation of it all was built by a Brit. In 1989, Sir Tim Berners-Lee, an English computer scientist working at CERN, created the World Wide Web. His genius wasn't inventing computers themselves, it was figuring out how to connect them. By developing HTML, URLs, and browsers, he gave the world a way to surf the Internet. Without Berners-Lee, there would be no Amazon shopping sprees, no TikTok dances, no Netflix marathons. It's one of those British inventions that shaped not only America, but the entire planet. 8.
Gente, eu amo ver como a ciência funciona. Porque no campo da ciência, muitas vezes é o que vem primeiro e preparou o solo, né, para que outras pessoas viessem e desenvolvessem algo, é muito mais importante até do que o que foi desenvolvido, né? Tipo, a mente que planejou tudo. E aqui a gente pode ver que, no caso, embora tenha coisas do Vale do Silício envolvido, o alicerce é britânico, né? E não dá para construir uma casa sobre uma fundação ruim, um alicerce ruim. Então a gente vê o quanto foi importante, né? Esse desenvolvimento, essa evolução, esse estudo que essas mentes britânicas fizeram. Isso realmente eu acho incrível.
The jet engine. Air travel feels like the most modern of conveniences, but its origin story starts in Britain. Sir Frank Whittle, an RAF officer, patented the first turbojet engine in 1930. By 1941, his design had taken to the skies. At nearly the same time, German engineer Hans von Ohain was working on a similar idea. But Whittle's contributions made commercial jet travel possible. Imagine how different life would be without it. Cross-country flights in America, the bustling airports of JFK and LAX, even quick business trips would still be a dream. Every American who boards a plane for a holiday in London or a business trip to Tokyo is riding on the back of a UK invention. 7. The tank. During World War I, Trench warfare had ground battles into stalemates. That changed in 1916, when Britain rolled out a new kind of armored vehicle at the Battle of the Somme. It was the tank, a name that came from a clever cover story describing them as water tanks to maintain secrecy. These rumbling machines broke through defenses and forever changed the face of modern warfare. Today, Americans may associate tanks with Hollywood war films or the might of the U.S. military, but their origins are British. Another reminder that many inventions Americans didn't know came from the UK started life on British soil.
É muito interessante isso, porque quando você para pensar sobre essa questão aqui, né, do avião, tipo, você tá falando coisas que envolvem muitas vidas. Você está falando sobre transplantes que podem ser deslocados rapidamente. Você está falando sobre a gente evitar de passar horas, né, esperando um carro. Eu vejo que as invenções britânicas não foram apenas revolucionárias, mas elas também trouxeram um sentido de liberdade que a maioria das pessoas não tinham, né? E isso eu vejo como algo realmente louvável.
6. The electric motor. From your kitchen appliances to your electric car, the electric motor powers modern life. Its roots? London, 1821. Michael Faraday, one of Britain's greatest scientists, discovered electromagnetic rotation, essentially turning electricity into motion. Faraday's experiments weren't yet practical motors, but they were the spark that lit the path forward. Without him, America's subway systems, factories, and even Tesla's electric cars wouldn't hum along. It's a reminder that British inventions don't just make history books. They shape the rhythm of daily American living. 5. The steam engine. Britain wasn't just part of the Industrial Revolution, it was the engine driving it. Thomas Newcomen created the first practical steam engine in 1712, and James Watt improved efficiency in the 1760s and 70s. This combination transformed coal into power, fueling factories, trains, and ships. By the time the technology crossed the Atlantic, America...
Porque são coisas que foram planejadas há muito, muito tempo, né? Eu fico tão surpresa com isso, porque você já tinha um avanço enorme naquela época. E imagine hoje, né, o quão deve estar ainda mais avançado as universidades de vocês. Realmente é fantástico.
Used it to build sprawling railroads, booming cities, and industrial giants. From the whistle of a steam train in old Western films to the imagery of factory smokestacks, so much of America's growth is linked to a UK invention born in Britain's industrial heartlands. 4. The light bulb. If you were asked who invented the light bulb, most Americans would say Thomas Edison. It's practically a cultural reflex. Edison's image with a glowing bulb is so deeply embedded in American history books that it feels like an undisputed fact. But the story isn't quite that simple. And it shines a little brighter once you look across the Atlantic. Enter Sir Joseph Swan, a British physicist and chemist. In 1878, Swan patented his version of the incandescent light bulb in England, a full year before Edison filed his own U.S. patent. Swan's bulbs were successfully demonstrated in Newcastle, and they worked, but they weren't yet commercially perfect. The filaments burned out too quickly, and the light wasn't reliable for long-term use. Meanwhile, in America, Edison was experimenting on similar designs. His breakthrough was in creating a longer-lasting filament and producing the bulbs at scale. Edison's genius was not only technical, but also entrepreneurial. He knew how to take an invention to market. Still, it's wrong to say the invention was purely American. In fact, the rivalry between Edison and Swan grew intense until the two eventually merged their companies, forming Edison and Swan United Electric. Today, when you flip a switch in New York or turn on a lamp in Los Angeles, you're using a technology that was born on both sides of the Atlantic. Swan's early breakthroughs made Edison's improvements possible, and together, their work gave the world the gift of light. This makes the incandescent bulb a perfect example of British inventions. Americans often don't realize came from the UK, even though it also became a symbol of American ingenuity. 3. The ATM, cash machine. Few inventions are as quietly revolutionary as the ATM. Today, withdrawing money feels like second nature. Whether you're in a small American town or the middle of Manhattan, cash machines are everywhere. But this everyday convenience didn't begin in America. It started in Britain. The very first ATM was installed in Enfield, North London, in June 1960.
Gente, eu fico chocada com isso, porque olha a liberdade, né, que foi trazido para o trabalhador. Ao invés de ficar preso na instituição bancária, a gente simplesmente tem a opção de um caixa 24 horas, graças à invenção britânica.
67. The man behind it was John Shepherd Barron, who had the idea while taking a bath. Frustrated by restrictive banking hours, he thought, why can't people withdraw money whenever they need to? His solution was a cash dispensing machine, which worked initially with paper vouchers impregnated with a special radioactive ink. A clever, if unusual, security feature. The idea quickly spread. By the 1970s and 80s, plastic cards with magnetic strips became the standard, and ATMs multiplied across the globe. For Americans, the ATM became essential in daily life. Grabbing cash on the way to a night out, withdrawing emergency funds during travel, or paying the babysitter. Yet, surprisingly, this global habit traces back to a British high street. It's one of those UK inventions that seamlessly integrated into American life. Few people stop to wonder where the first machine came from, but every time an American gets cash from the wall, they're unknowingly benefiting from British ingenuity. 2. The television.
Até isso.
Television feels so deeply American that it's hard to imagine it started anywhere else. The U.S. gave the world Hollywood, cable news, sitcoms, late-night talk shows, and streaming platforms. But the technology that made all of that possible began with John Logie Baird in Britain. In 1926, Baird, a Scottish engineer, gave the first public demonstration of a working television in London. His system was electromechanical, meaning it combined mechanical parts with electronic components to transmit moving images. It was crude by modern standards, blurry images, small screens, flickering lights, but it worked. For the first time, people could see live images sent from one place to another. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, Philo Farnsworth in the U.S. developed the fully electronic television, which was far more advanced and became the standard. But without Baird's pioneering demonstration, the concept of television might have taken much longer to catch on. Think about what that means for American culture. The Super Bowl, Saturday morning cartoons, presidential debates, and even today's Netflix binge sessions wouldn't exist without the first spark lit in Britain. It's another example of British inventions Americans didn't know came from the UK, yet it's now inseparable from daily American life. 1. The computer. If there's one invention that defines our age, it's the computer.
Até isso.
From the phone in your hand to the servers powering Google, YouTube, and TikTok, computers run modern life. And while America often takes credit, the roots of computing stretch back to Britain. In the 1830s, Charles Babbage, a brilliant English mathematician, designed the analytical engine. Though it was never fully built in his lifetime, it's recognized as the first blueprint of a programmable computer. Babbage's collaborator, Ada Lovelace, even wrote what is considered the first computer program, making her the world's first coder. Fast forward a century, and the story deepens. During World War II, British codebreakers at Bletchley Park faced the impossible task of cracking German military codes. To do it, they built Colossus, the world's first programmable electronic digital computer, in 1943 to 44. Colossus could process information faster than anything before it, and played a crucial role in shortening the war. America's ENIAC, built shortly after in 1945, was more famous because it was public, while Colossus remained a top-secret project for decades. But historically, Britain had already laid down the foundation. Today, whether you're working on a laptop in Boston, gaming on a PC in Chicago, or editing YouTube videos in Los Angeles, you're relying on a UK invention that changed the course of human history. It's not just one of the 10 British inventions Americans often don't realize came from the UK.
Gente, incrível. Eu sempre fico chocada porque, é como eu falei, para mim essas invenções elas são muito mais do que invenções ou revoluções, elas são realmente um símbolo de liberdade, sabe? A forma como a gente consegue ter acesso a essas coisas hoje, graças a essas invenções, realmente revolucionaram o mundo, revolucionaram a vida de todos nós. Imagine hoje você ter acesso, né, a um celular, mas tem muito a ver também com a questão do telefone, você ter a questão do avião, você tem a televisão, a questão do motor, então são muitas coisas que influenciaram. O caixa eletrônico, por exemplo, o trabalhador antes ficava realmente submetido a uma questão da instituição bancária e hoje a gente simplesmente tem essa opção, né, de ir ali 24 horas e escolher. Então, realmente é incrível. Eu não sei onde o mundo estaria hoje, se não fosse essas invenções, né? E eu literalmente falo isso porque a gente tem a questão da internet, né? E a internet aqui, ela hoje é o que move o mundo. Então, sem a internet, sem o computador, a gente estaria realmente numa situação muito diferente do que a gente conhece. Então, eu acho incrível como vocês naquela época já tinham acesso a tantas coisas que permitiram tanto desenvolvimento, né? Coisas que afetam a gente até hoje. Mas bom, essa foi a minha reação. Eu espero que você tenha gostado desse vídeo. Se você gostou, considere se inscrever. Vou adorar ter você por aqui. E se você já for inscrito, não esquece de ativar as notificações. Então é isso, obrigada por assistir esse vídeo e nos vemos na próxima reação. Tchau!